Hello. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Peace be
I
unto
welcome
you
the
too.
NTA family.
Thank you
to my
very
home,
much. Thank you so much.
of nature.
Yes, I see a lot
home
of
of green
greenery.
pharmacy.
Yes.
The
I
home
see a
where
lot of
nature is
greenery
at its
around.
best.
Yes, I
Thank you.
see so much of that. I mean, you have such a peaceful place here and a lovely one too.
You know, when you are closer to nature, everything is peaceful.
Exactly.
And increase in health.
Exactly. Nigeria is a country which is richly blessed, not just with the human resources alone, but natural resources. We are thoroughly endowed. And around me, here all around me, I see greenery, I see nature, I see peace. As I welcome you to another beautiful time on Executive Discuss, coming to you on the network service of the NTA. My name is Ololade Adeniji Adele. On this week's episode of the program, from what you must have gleaned or guessed, we're talking herbal medicine, we're talking alternative medicine, and perhaps contemporary medicine, as some people would want to refer to it. Well, you saw the person that welcomed me. That's talking about my hostess. You might have had an idea of who she is. But you know what? Just to set all doubts aside and to give clarity of purpose, why don't you come with us to find out who my guest is? Once again, you're welcome to Executive Discuss on the network service of the NTA.
You are
Hajia,
welcome again. Let's take a seat.
thank you very much. Why don't you join me as we welcome to Executive Discuss Hajia Zainab Ojudud Sharif. How are you, Hajia?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to speak to you, and I'm always excited when the NTA comes calling.
Yes,
you know,
because
that
you're
has
one
been
of
my
us.
home.
Yes,
that has
you're
been
one
my
of
home
us.
as far back as in the 90s,
Exactly.
1996, I would say, when I started this journey.
Yes.
In an unusual route, you know.
Exactly.
Heroes are made when they go through unusual routes.
Unusual
because
routes.
along the unusual routes, you make a lot of discoveries. So this is what I have done in my journey.
Wow.
A very lonely one, but fulfilling, and God has seen me through. And I've acquired knowledge, wisdom, and on very unusual things along the way that nature or God can only let you know if you are closer to nature.
For the purpose of this conversation, so that our viewers know who exactly we're talking about. I mean, I know you, we know you very well in NTA, just as you've said just now. It's important for Nigerians to actually know who Hajia Zainab Sharif is, where you were born, what schools you attended, what life was like growing up as a child, and you know how the journey up until where we are at today started.
That's a very interesting question, and I'll try to summarize as much as possible. Born in a quiet local government, Rano local government of Koni State, let's say in the 60s. And then from there, my father was a headmaster. So you can see having parents that are into education. So it was easy for me to get educated. And I could vividly remember, I entered the secondary school at the age of 10. And I finished the secondary school at the age of 14 and proceeded to the School of Preliminary Studies, Kano, where I spent 2 years. And then in 79, I went to the great Ahmadu Bello University, where I studied pharmacy. But before I say pharmacy, I wanted to study medicine, but I was not interested in medicine because I didn't want to see the human blood flowing all over. So I said I was going to specialize in chemistry. I was very good in chemistry. When I went to the interview in ABU, this very nice registrar said, "Do you know what is pharmacy?" I said, what is pharmacy? That was the first time I heard the word pharmacy. He said, this is the study of plants. I said, that's what I like. So I didn't know destiny was calling me.
Okay.
I got excited and I finished. It's very interesting to know that in life, if God clears your path, it's easy to follow. And then I graduated at the age of 19.
As a pharmacist.
As a pharmacist, and I'm very proud. Along my career, I joined the civil service right from Kano State. I worked in different places. I work in there is a popular hospital, the Murtala Muhammad Hospital, Kano, and I work in Nasara Hospital, Kano. I work in the medical stores, and then I also in a maternity home called Jakara Maternity Home.
All as a pharmacist?
All as a pharmacist, starting and working in my professional career, because you must be exposed to the hospital. If you've read pharmacy, you don't work in a hospital where you have a lot of ailments, disease management, control, and giving drugs, then I don't think you are a complete pharmacist. So I've gone through that and work in the store where you know how to store your drugs, pharmaceutically or therapeutically. And from there, like I said, I joined the civil service in 1992. That's the Federal Civil Service in Lagos. And then I worked in Lagos before. I worked in a project called the World Bank Assisted Essential Projects, which was under the Ministry of Health, whereby we were to promote essential medicines for the use in most public institutions. So I've been in the civil service career at the federal level, and then came back, and then from 1999, I would say, from 2000 to 2007, I was in charge of the clinic, the pharmacy clinic in Phase 1 Secretariat. Along that, my passion was also growing. One thing about this, my passion for medicinal plants started, let me say, I may want the audience to know that whatever God wants you to do, you may not need anybody to tell you. There are spiritual influences that come with it. Why am I saying that? When I got interested in medicinal plants, let me say 1998 in Lagos, my late husband, may he so rest in peace, Alhaji Ojudud Sharif, introduced me to Mr. Coker of NTA, that this my wife has a lot of knowledge. 1999, I was Good Morning Ride, I think. I once went there and talked about medicinal plants, and then I started. But what I needed to do as a pharmacist is that you cannot talk about plants if there is no proof. More so, we want to know some scientific evidences. So my husband moved to Abuja, and I had to stay back in Lagos.
In Lagos.
I didn't know why I had to stay back in Lagos, but I knew destiny was working, because I now begin to gather literatures on medicinal plants. They could know I went to the University of Lagos to do a postgraduate study in herbal medicine. Nobody could teach me.
Because I was going to ask if
nobody.
It's
That was the
there.
challenge number one. Nobody. They said, I remember Professor Coker again told me when I went to him, I said, I want to do masters in herbal medicine. I'm not interested in a particular plant where we do in pharmacognosy. You look at the study of a plant. I say, no, I want to know all the plants. He said, that is multitasking. It's not easy. We don't do that. However, you could speak to Dr. Kemi Odukoya. She's a pharmacognosist. Maybe she will have an interest. I went to Dr. Odukoya, discussed with her. She said, no, but however, I also have passion for medicinal plants. I told her that I've gotten materials from my research. What I do, can you believe it, Olalede? I have to sell my gold to buy books, because I was passionate. I knew I needed to enrich myself with knowledge. So I go to all the bookshops in Lagos. Any book on herbal medicine or medicinal plants, I buy them. I send when I travel to UK or anywhere outside. I always come when people buy jewelries or people buy dresses.
Your own jewelry,
my own jewelry
materials,
is a case
books.
of books, because I needed that knowledge. And realizing that there was nowhere I could go and get it in Nigeria for a postgraduate level. And again, the challenge I had was that I was growing up my family. So the only place I could have gone to enrich myself with that knowledge was to go abroad.
But you had a young family.
I have a young family. This is a decision that a woman at times is challenged with. Am I going to leave my young family, 3-4 years old kids, to go and pursue a course in the United Kingdom? And coming from the conservative area of the North. But I really cherish and I really appreciate my late husband, who gave me all the support. I said, okay, I can stay and read because my professional background, pharmacy, has given me a platform to develop. And then when I went to University of Lagos to meet Kemi, I said, my husband said, these materials are too many. Let's make them into books. That was my meeting with Kemi Odukoya of University of Lagos. And then I spoke with her. And again, she was interested. She said, this is good. What? I said, how are you going to edit my books? She said, you know what we are going to do, Hajia? You must come every day. I was living in Ikoyi, number 1 Temple Road, Ikoyi. And I will tell you the story of number 1 Temple Road. Again, it's destiny. I became pregnant, and throughout the course of that 9 months, I had my baby, but I was following up with that pregnancy. I would go up and down. I think the baby, too, was really herbalized because anything I want to try, she's inside. I try with her. And I don't know, when God wants to do something, he knows how to take care of that. And my own was to prove why, I thought that the outside world, or maybe I would say the Western world, were not using natural remedies until I started this research. Luckily, we were able to edit the books with Kemi Odukoya, and I came up with 3 volumes. You can imagine as far back as 2000. We are now talking about 22 years ago. The first series of my books came out with Kemi Odukoya supporting me, and then growing from the other side of the advocacy through NTA. I don't know, NTA was always there for me. They were interested again. Come and talk about. That led me to establishing a program called Nature's Pharmacy.
Nature's Pharmacy.
In today's episode, we are looking at the care of the blood. That liquid, the red liquid which you see in your body, the functions of that liquid can never be overemphasized. I was also writing in the Daily Trust. I had a column called Nature's Pharmacy. So you can see, I was knowledgeable, collecting books. You will not believe it. I have over 200 collection of books on medicinal plants up there.
Goodness.
Some cost me, a textbook can cost me as much as 100,000. I'm ready to buy. Because I knew that knowledge is power.
Is power.
I was going to face with the challenges of these, my colleagues. Be they pharmacists, be they doctors, whatever they are. I knew what I need to is to read ahead. And then read this aspect. So when they want to talk to me, I said, please don't argue. Can you go and read? Because you don't argue what you don't know.
What you don't know.
You get the expert to read. So I am different now. I'm not only at pharmacy level, my degree level, I have added these ones.
Knowledge.
So that has made me different. Back to my official assignment, I was posted to Ojudud medical stores. So every morning I leave Ikoyi to Ojudud medical stores. So there was a book written in 1973, Cleopard something. I read the book. What captured my interest was a paragraph in that book that said, if people knew the value of eye bright, the spectacle man will not sell. That is to say that plant is very important to the eyes. If we know more of it and use it, we won't see a lot of people using glasses. That means it strengthens the eye.
The eyes.
It's good for the eye. So I said, oh God, how will I see this plant? I forgot I remember reading it. I said, okay. One day I was to go to my work in Ojudud. I came out of the gate. Do you know, something said, this is eye bright.
From nowhere.
From nowhere. It said, this is eye bright. Then I remember the book. Then I look at the plant there, and it is eye bright. It looks like the eyes. Yes. Who is telling me this is eye bright? I can ask that. No science can prove this. That is why I'm worried and concerned when everything we say, we want scientific proof.
Proof of it.
You can't get everything. God will not expose everything. There are mysteries. You don't see God, but we believe in God.
In God.
So there are certain things that science does not know, but it cannot say it is wrong. If God, the omniscience, has given us some peculiar things, either using a human being intuitionally or otherwise to determine that, then I think we can be able to join wisdom, knowledge, and science
together to make something.
Yes, but you see more of science. And I always tell my colleagues, who are those scientists? Are they not human beings like you? So we too can be our own scientists in our own way, in our own environment. Because the great leader, Kwame Nkrumah, said, the weapons of our philosophy should be based on the environment and the living conditions of our people. And our intellectual reasoning should be based on that. What am I saying? I go to school to study. I have learned pharmacy. I should be able to domesticate my pharmacy knowledge in Africa and in Nigeria.
To suit your environment.
Yes, to learn the knowledge. The practitioners, we claim, I call them their traditional scientists. So let me capture their traditional scientists, learn it into modern scientists, then merge it. And I think we'll do a lot. And that is what God wants us to do.
Okay, before you go further, because there's so much we can keep, discussing, yes, in both orthodox and herbal medicine. Something still intrigues me. You studied pharmacy, yes, even though you did not really know what pharmacy was about before, because what you wanted to study was chemistry. But my question here is, why herbal medicine? What gave birth to that intuition to want to know what plants, roots, and stems could do to improve the health situation?
Okay, you are forcing me to talk about the other angle that I think cannot be explained. In the course of my knowledge of herbal medicine, like I said, getting the knowledge, reading, buying books, I didn't know I was paying the price of what to come. So you see me in my house then in Ikoyi, like I told you, I gather those plants, put them in the shade, begin to write them and begin to understand what they are.
Why?
Now I'm coming to that. My grandmother was a herbalist. She was specialized in gynecologists, traditional birth attendants, and pediatrics. She's able to use herbs to treat children, cough, so many things.
The traditional way, using our herbs.
Yes. And then, so anytime I go to visit her, she tends to like me. I think she has so many grandchildren. She told my mother, I like Zainab. So I didn't know. This is where you cannot explain. So she died 1994, the same day, my birthday, 28th of March. After her death, the passion increased. I had to be knowing about plants. You know, there's a time you called, when you see people are in trance or they are on their own, something is happening. So I started knowing more and the crave to go and find out, even include the one I told you about Eyebright. When I told my colleague, two of my colleagues, one will say, Hajia, now you they see, waiting you they see. But the other guy too was crazy about palm oil, trying to see how he can work on palm oil pharmacist Linus. He had a laboratory in his house to be able to extract palm oil. So we can see we are in the same phase. He said, Hajia, continue. I know what you are seeing. I'm seeing it there. So these are things that were really encouraging me. So in the night, I was sleeping. Then somebody said, you can now mix the herbs.
Who was the somebody?
I don't know. You can now mix the herbs.
But you're sure that you heard the voice?
The voice said you can now mix the herbs. So I went back. I remember my grandmother telling me, and then later on telling my mother. I gave Zainab something. When I started mixing the herbs, my mother now called me and recalled that message her mother told her. So that means she gave me this, the inheritance has been passed to me in this area. You can see when she now died, my passion increased, my knowledge, I was crazy, everything, selling my gold to buy books because I'm a pharmacist. I cannot just say just like that. If this herb is good for malaria, as a scientist, I need to say, why is it good for malaria? What is in it is good for malaria? So that is why I had to acquire the additional knowledge. And that helped me a lot, and that brought me to the Bayfront. But the other side of it is that during that phase, a lot of people used to call me Babalao.
Actually, I would call you Mama Lao.
Yes, I didn't like it. Because I felt the belief was that Babalawo are fetishism, they do juju or whatever they call it. But me, my own is not juju. What I was doing is I was loving the plants and trying to know what they do, even in pharmacy, knowing that 45% of our modern drugs started that way.
That way.
If you go to history, the cinchona bark of chloroquine, it was a practitioner who gave the knowledge. You know, the Chinese say we do not ignore the barefoot doctors. They are the basis of our knowledge. If a practitioner says this herb is used for malaria, when I go to the lab, the first thing I will do is to find out its anti-malaria activity. So you can see how they help. And those practitioners, the real one,
Yes.
they inherited it. So you can see inheritance was working on me, but that inheritance wanted me to be knowledgeable. That took me to read pharmacy.
Now I get it. Now,
And that further made me
Yes.
not only reading the pharmacy and starting the knowledge of finding out about medicinal plants,
yes.
going crazy, reading books. It's like you have to pay your price. Then I have opened your eyes.
the eyes.
Since then, I have never looked back.
Okay, so you
Launched
wouldn't
my
mind. You
set
wouldn't
of
mind
books.
if I call you Mama Lau.
Yes, you can call me Mamalo in this context that I have explained to you.
Yes, in the context.
Yes.
Having come this far, you started officially in about 1996.
Let's say that.
Having come this far, I mean, it's been quite a while now, over 20 years.
Yes.
And I'm still counting. What has the journey been like for you? Knowing from where we're coming
Yes.
and where we are today, what has your own personal experience been like?
You know, I'm only guided by that vision I told you that heroes do not go through the normal route. When you go through the normal route, you will not learn discoveries. You will not see things unusual. But when you go through unusual routes, you see a lot of things. And in the course of my life, I discovered I'm a pioneer. I'm the first pharmacist to have published, let me say in Africa or in Nigeria especially, published herbal books. In 2000, three books. Taken to London African Books Collection, Clayon University edited the books and said it is a good book. Spectrum, that were my publishers, were selling my volume 1 for £12, volume 2 and 3, £7. That was not, money was not the issue to me. My issue was what I asked God, please give me the knowledge. If I have the knowledge, and then let me tell mankind what is this knowledge about. And then I know the money will come.
Will come.
If you look at in the 90s, those practitioners that were coming out, there were some have died, but their own was exploitation, looking for money. I was not interested. My own was acquire the knowledge because there is power in knowledge. And I thank God that God gave me that grace, not the passion to be looking for money. I'm contented. So you can see along that journey, traditional medicine program was in the Ministry of Health. It was transferred to my department in 2007. I was the first divisional pioneer head of traditional medicine. I have always been a pioneer. So I pioneered that division in 2007. By 2008, I was taken from Ministry of Health on a special assignment to Ministry of Agric. And I call myself Farmer Greek, okay? To go and set up a medicinal plant company called Artemisinin Development Company.
In the Ministry of Agriculture?
Yes. That was, the purpose was, you remember when Nigeria switched from chloroquine to artemisinin?
To artemisinin.
During the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. They set up that company in 2007. And the great leader said, we don't need these raw materials because this new malaria drug called ACT combination therapy is from a herbal plant called Artemisia annua, which grows indigenously in China. Can we cultivate in Nigeria to see the value? And then if we're able to cultivate in Nigeria, we can now have a raw material for anti-malaria medicine. You see, that was a good vision. So that was the purpose. But the Chinese said, no, the plant cannot grow in China.
Cannot grow in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, sorry. But, you know, I was told that the president said, can I see some seeds? That is President Olusegun Obasanjo. You know, I wouldn't say he took the seeds
Yes.
Yes, you know, I would.
Of course.
You trust the man.
Of course,
Brought
yes.
them to Nigeria, and then had a special advisor on manufacturing, then Abdelkader. Then they now started. They took some samples, grew these plants, and when I came in 2008, we did a trial studies in all the zones. Do you know what? This plant only grows in Nigeria. The content of what we want that has the anti-malaria property called artemisinin was higher. Even than the Chinese
than
one.
what they had in
Yes,
China.
the one of interest was in Taraba State. The plant was growing, and you know it's two seasonal plant. Every 6 months you can harvest.
Oh.
So we took some of our leaves, took them to France to test the artemisinin. The viability of artemisinin is 0.4%. We had a viability of 1.2%. So the Chinese told lies.
Yeah, because they
They
don't
want
us
us
to know.
Yes. And then Nigeria is blessed with such an arable soil. We did trial even in Abuja. We did trial in Katsina. We did trial in Kano. We did trial in Abeokuta. We did trial in Enugu. We did trial in Cross Rivers, Calabar. We did trial in Gombe. We did trial in Plateau. We did trial in Taraba. In all these trials, I can show you the pictorial representation, which I have till today, to see the Artemisia plant growing.
How it grew very well here.
Even the interesting one was when they go to harvest in Brunukudu, you can harvest the seeds. You allow it after 6 months so that it can produce the seeds. So the biomass will not be many. That means the leaves will not be many because you are interested in the seeds. You do the seeds and you remove the shaft. Do you know the local people were taking the shaft?
To do what with?
To do what? Ask me. When they go to homes, they burn the shaft. The oil comes out. They said mosquito does not come for the next 6 hours.
A repellent.
Excellent. It became a repellent to them.
Goodness.
The local people. So we are looking for the seeds and the biomass. They were interested in the shaft. You can imagine the value chain. We can use the shaft to have mosquito repellent, the seeds to grow more artemisia, and the biomass to produce the artemisinin, the artemisinin to further go chemical synthesis and have the anti-malaria raw materials. That would have been what Nigeria would have achieved in 2008-12 after the research.
So what happened to it?
It's history. You know, when things come out in Nigeria, let me be able to say, with no apology, because the truth is always the truth. When people are not interested in what they believe, there is no interest. They will destroy it.
So it wasn't pursued.
Yeah, it wasn't pursued in the agric. They were claiming I should go back to my ministry. But what I would say, the less is history. So that was the end of Artemisia annua.
Oh, goodness.
When the Madagascar came up with their Artemisia discovery, if we had continued our own, you can imagine what would have happened to us.
Yes.
However, the good news is this, Allah, very good news. You know, when history has to come, there's a way it comes back. I'm glad to say the Raw Material Council is collaborating with my department to get Artemisia, and we had to go back to those technical advisors we wanted then, 2000. So the Vietnamese are the real owners of Artemisia annua.
Not even the Chinese.
You know, the Chinese are quick to make noise. The real owners, if you see how they started, we have been able to get the service of one technical advisor with the raw material determined. I want to congratulate the DG. Now. As I'm telling you, that technical advisor is coming. I hope you follow up this case.
Definitely.
To come and teach some of our farmers on how to grow Artemisia.
That will be fantastic. That will be great.
After the pilot test, because we want to test again in some farms, 1 hectare, in Kano, in Abuja, in some places, just to test.
Yes.
Then a gram of Artemisia seeds was $120. Very broadcast then. Very expensive because, you know, we had to remove, where they had changed from chloroquine to malaria. So I'm glad that that thing is coming back. So with the raw material taking the lead, we'll be able to have grown teach farmers cultivate more of Artemisia, and at least we have the main plant as raw material. And we hope that the government will take the interest and set up an extraction plant so that we can now get the Artemisinin. Artemisia annual plant, you take it to the extraction plant, you get the crude Artemisinin. Even the crude Artemisinin can be exported and you get the fine raw material at that level. But much more better for us is to do the complete value chain.
Value chain here.
Set up the extraction plant with the support and the technical transfer of technology from the Vietnamese who are coming, they are ready. And that will help us. And then we can be able to have raw material, not only for malaria. You know, studies are going on in the use of Artemisinin, even in this COVID-19.
Okay,
people
might
have used
actually
it.
come in.
Yes, as a, you know, chloroquine, there was a time they said take chloroquine because chloroquine is beta. Artemisia tor is being taken as a prophylaxis. That's why the Madagascar said they had Artemisia. But you know, in science, you don't just come out and say you cure.
Yes.
I think the president would have been more scientific, maybe advise him to say that in the management, because we look at it from the content of boosting and supporting the immune system. Any beta, quote me anywhere. You know, I've read a lot. I've read a lot. I'm not just the ordinary pharmacist. I'm not just the only focus one way. You see, when you see our doctors, our pharmacists speaking, they are speaking from one angle. For you to have a solid knowledge, you must expand.
You must be broad-minded.
You must be broad-minded. Don't say what we are challenged is that these are professionals. They are quick to say you are wrong. But they are not quick to understand why.
From the angle you're coming.
Yes. Why don't I read and understand what she's saying? That brings me to the idea in the slow pace of promoting TCAM in this country. Traditional, complementary, and alternative medicine.
Now, before you go to the slow pace, it's similar to what I want to ask you about, because you have talked so much about your journey in this field of herbal medicine. Looking at where we are today in Nigeria, you and I know, just as you said earlier, that yes, the Chinese are very quick to talk, and they are very, very vocal about their achievements or otherwise. Somehow, we all believe that herbal medicine, traditional medicine, the headquarters can actually be said to be China, because they are really exploiting and exploring what they have there. Looking at what we have in Nigeria, I know that we have over 80% of our arable land in Nigeria can produce good plants from which we can extract a lot for the promotion of our herbal medicine. How have we fared?
Yeah.
How are we faring? And how far can we go?
Okay. For the purpose of understanding of our audience, let me start by defining traditional, complementary, and alternative medicine. You see, when you talk of traditional medicine, the word WHO recognizes 3 healthcare systems. The traditional medicine is your indigenous medicine, medicine of the people, community medicine, medicine that you were brought in. A case, an example is, the Yoruba will say agbo. Can you ever prevent the Yoruba man from saying agbo? He was born in it and is in it. What we are always saying is that, can we make it more scientific so that people will not have toxicity somehow? But the traditional science knowledge is there. That is traditional medicine. Whether, as we can define it, diagnosis, treatment, prevention, whether you can explain it or you cannot explain it. Inexplicable. Handed down from generation to generation. Okay? Verbally, through whatever we want to say it, is still giving the medicinal effects. We have traditional dance, we have traditional food, we also have our traditional medicine. When your traditional medicine goes out of your country to another country, it becomes alternative medicine. It's very good that we get the clearer picture. Because at times,
it's an alternative for them there.
God bless you. But it's not.
It's traditional to you there, in your own country.
WHO say traditional medicine, we don't have problem with orthodox medicine. Then the complementary and alternative medicine, anything that is not traditional or conventional, but has the power of health interventions. We call it complementary or alternative medicine. An example.
Because that would, bring clarity to this.
Acupuncture is traditional to Chinese.
Yes.
In Chinese, acupuncture is their traditional medicine.
Yes.
But when it comes out anywhere, it is complementary. Okay? Homeopathy is traditional to German. It is complementary.
Just the way Ayurvedic
Great.
is.
Ayurveda is traditional to
Indians.
It is complementary. Aromatherapy is a form of complementary medicine. Hydrotherapy. Let me just make it a bit simple. Aromatherapy, we use essential oils for treatment, either in form of incense or in form of baths, oils, aromatherapy. It's an encompassing complementary medicine.
Yes.
There are people who specialize in aromatherapy.
That area.
Apitherapy is a form of complementary medicine. What do I mean by apitherapy? There are PhD holders in understanding the use of honey as medicine.
Honey?
Yes, and that is what is called apitherapy. Okay? We even have what they call clay therapy. We went to Turkey 2 years ago. There was a conference on complementary alternative medicine. An expert was telling us how clay is used as medicine. We have clays here. Soil therapy. Ethotherapy. You know the sand? Do you know what is in the sand?
That's worms.
Do you know the medicinal value in the sand? Where are you going to at the end of the day? We are all going down.
Going back there.
The Egyptians do what they called a bath using sand.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes.
Because they believe there are a lot of nutrients in that sand.
In sand.
So they put the sand, you are in a tube, bath tube, you fill you up with sand up to your neck.
The neck.
They put a heat to warm you up, to detoxify your system. At the end, you are brought out of the sand, sweating, because a lot of nutrients from the sand has gone in. Just like you can never determine the value of honey. The bees go to a lot of trees. It flies to a lot, collecting the pollen grains.
From those
and that
trees.
is why at times, the honeycomb is medicinal. You know, when people take the honey, I go for the comb.
For the comb.
Because the comb has a house where the honey comes to lay and put some deposits along the journey. So, I would say, when you remove the honey, don't throw away the comb.
The comb.
Can you chew the comb
to
give you more health benefits?
Can you?
You can chew the comb or even swallow it.
The honeycomb?
Sure.
Okay, that's knowledge.
So like you were just saying, and I want to say this, the Chinese, because they did not include their own, they have put more science. But when they want to go internationally, they say this is Chinese traditional medicine. Take it the way it is,
or you leave
it. It is our own.
They are proud of what they have.
They are not saying they will not go through the international, the synthetic one. But you see that most people now say, this is the Chinese one, Moku take them the way it be. The Ayurveda, the Indian says, this is Ayurveda medicine. Take it the way it is, or leave it. What are we talking about our own? It's so sad. I want to say, this is Nigerian traditional medicine. Take it the way it is, or leave it. If we do that, we'll promote our own. It's a value chain. We can even get the funds or the finance to be able to expose ourselves to further clinical trials. Lola, you cannot do clinical trials. It's not an easy journey for the practitioner. He doesn't have the funds. You know, we are quick to say, let me educate the audience. This medicine, they don't have those. Just like the orthodox paracetamol. Thank God I'm a pharmacist. To produce paracetamol, the main active ingredient, acetaminophen, is a very critical chemical. And any chemical is poison. You must dose it. Okay?
Yes.
You must be very careful.
Yes.
A breakable plate and non-breakable plate. You must handle the breakable plate with care.
With care.
So because our synthetic drugs are from chemicals, there are stages you go to produce them, using a lot of chemicals, using a lot of alcohols, using a lot of acids to go and get the active ingredient. Why can't you dose it? You must dose it. It is not the same as herbal medicine where you are using it holistically. The belief is that those things, the constituents, the high level of components in the herbs protect one another.
Okay, Hajia Zainab, listen, I'm not sure that you and I will agree on this one. Yes. Reason being this.
You should allow me to finish.
Yes, because no, it's even good you went that way. For me, you said Yorubas talk about agbo. Yes, and there are herbs all over the place.
Yes.
But excuse me, you're asking me to take agbo for malaria, right?
Yes.
How sure am I of
the dose?
The dose.
Good question. You know, I was trying to learn for you to know.
Because you're talking about...
Yes, the dose. I knew why I was talking about dose. But I wanted to tell you, this is the genesis of the journey. You and plants are married. Do you agree with me? You are married in the sense that, what do you bring out? When you breathe, what do you bring out?
Okay, now I get you.
No, talk to me. What do you bring out?
Carbon dioxide.
What does the plant bring out?
I agree now. So please
symbiotic relationship.
Tell me about this dosage.
This marriage is showing you that we are compatible. However, I am not saying that in everything it is important to understand the quantity you take. Whatever it is, the one that is nature. Because I'm going to tell you, you must give me an answer.
Okay.
Who discovered egusi soup? Who discovered ogbono soup? Who discovered kuka soup? Is it the scientist?
No.
So now let's begin to talk of how nature came in. Intuition. So, you knew. You are just eating egusi soup. You don't know who started the journey. The same thing with this apple. I said, as long as you have the inheritance, God will give you the knowledge of how to take it. If you meet the real herbalist, and they have done this, even WHO said, any herbal remedies that have been used for many years
and has been proven to work.
When I say the agbo, the crazy people are not just going to give it to you anyhow. I think there should be a shot. The quantity is specified, even in herbal medicine. I'm just telling you the critical differences between orthodox and herbal medicine. They are not close because this one is multi-component. But this one, you have gotten the active ingredient. Okay?
Directly.
So you have done some processes. And those processes are highly technical and chemicalized. Using corrosive things to arrive at that. So you must need a care to dose it so that you don't over-poison yourself. But the herbal medicine, because we believe it's holistic, is quite safe. Less side effects. However, modern scientists, modern herbalists have those, for goodness sake. We have been able to put them in sachet forms, in tea forms, in powder forms, in capsule forms, in pill forms. So things are happening. You are behind. Even now we are talking about nano-pharmacy, nano-medicine, where the Indians use gold and mix with plant to make medicine. You will now begin to ask me, you thought gold was only to wear.
Yes.
Do you know gold is medicine now? In cosmetics, don't you see some gold soap?
Yes.
They use gold as medicine when it is deactivated. So God is giving us so many natural resources in the aspect of minerals and this aspect of plants, which I call the green pharmacy or the medicinal plants. So the dose with modern science and modern pharmacy and modern herbalists, we have those. But the dose is slightly different from the orthodox because the orthodox, the active principle has been removed. But this one is not the same now.
Okay, much as I agree with you.
So I hope you are getting my explanation.
Yes, I'm getting your explanation.
You must
but
dose
I'm
it.
Still wondering.
Even water must be dosed.
Why have we not been able to explore all this natural goodness that God has given to us?
That's what pains me in the heart. Because you must know that this country is blessed with over 8,000 species of medicinal plants. We have not tapped into 10%. And I see the foreigners come in here
Exactly.
and take your natural medicinal plants away and bring it back to you and you buy. Just like what we do with the crude oil. We have Moringa oleifera, a desert-resistant plant, growing abundantly in Nigeria, especially in the northern part. When the Chinese goes to the farms, they take all your moringa, take it abroad, and bring it as green tea. And we, the elites, are excited to say we are drinking
green tea.
And you don't appreciate your own. Let me commend the effort so far in the Ministry of Health of trying to make and see how we can promote this aspect through research. But you know that there is not so much support for research. If we're able to support research more things will come out. I always look at the value chain, let's say from farm to market. Okay? A medicinal plant that is well known, they come out and tell you the magic plant that is good is bitter leaf, isn't it? You all saw it.
Yes.
Because the white man told you it is good. When we were saying it, I started talking about Moringa as 1996 through intuition. Nobody understood until now that they have said it's capsulated. They bring to you. If we take our bitter leaf grown in the southeast, mostly grown in Nigeria, we have the best species
of
bitter leaf grown everywhere. It's an all year rounder.
Yes, I mean it grows in people's
everywhere.
Backyards.
We can process it into different forms. It has so many multi-diverse value. As a bitter, it's good for digestion. If I begin to tell you the value of
bitter leaf,
is so much. So if we are able to believe in our own local content, I thought that with the COVID-19, we would have seen open our eyes wider and be able to harness the local content. I would want us to look more. The authorities, we belong to the government. I am appealing for more support for traditional complementary, let me say traditional medicine, because it's our own indigenous medicine. By taking those plants that have market value, the current market value for medicinal plant is $100 billion annually. China is in the lead. India,
100
Thailand,
billion.
Cameroon, getting something.
And we are not keen into it.
Maybe back behind the yard. I don't know what to say. We need a strong political will. Hey, let's look into our own and get people like us who are experts in this field to be able to look and then get the researchers. We have the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research. We need even an institute for traditional medicine research, because that is pharmaceutical. When the Institute of Traditional Medicine has finished, it can give to the pharmaceutical to continue and look for the active ingredients. But the advantage of our traditional medicine is that you can get so many value chain and make finance. If you are able to take your product, put them in tea form, you make money. If you put them in capsule form, you make money. I give you an example. Ginger is grown. We have one of the best species
of ginger.
Lola, you can take ginger as spice, isn't it?
Yes.
You add it to your food. I can also take that ginger, capsulate it, add more value, do a lot of analysis, and I use it in the management of rheumatism or arthritis. Stimulating the blood system, stimulating the circulation, useful in hypertension, useful in the management of diabetes. Ginger. The same ginger, I can take it and add it to some foods to produce what I call therapeutic foods. Foods that have medicinal value. Can you see ginger flying up? The same ginger, you can get the essential oil. More so beautiful, you can use the same ginger to produce an anti-dandruff shampoo.
Yes.
Okay? A hair cream and ginger soap, which is good for rashes.
Okay, because I don't know what to say anymore with all these that you have given to me.
We still say we are poor. We still go to borrow.
Yet there's so much
God is,
lying
when I get too emotional, I say God is annoyed. Because, let me be a bit religious, because God said, He has given you, I try to look at the Christian angle because I read a lot. 47:12, Ezekiel. The fruits is for your food.
Food.
The leaves is for your
For your
healing.
healing.
Am I right?
Yes, you are.
The 3 wise men, when they came to Jesus Christ, they gave him 3 gifts. You know what are the gifts?
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
All these 3 have healing properties. I was told and I read that Jesus Christ was born in the manger. So dogs, there could be infection, there could be this thing. That is the use of the wise men bringing myrrh. Myrrh is an antiseptic and is also a stimulant. We both use myrrh externally and we also use myrrh internally. It stimulates the liver. Frankincense, the great frankincense, a home that is blessed. I am touching the Islamic point of view.
Okay.
Uses frankincense as an incense, mostly in the evening, to drive away the evil spirit. More important, it improves the memory. The 3 wise men brought medicinal gift to him.
To him.
In Islam, when a disease descends, according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it descends with the remedy. But man must seek.
To find.
The Prophet said, when he looks at the citrus fruits, he's so excited because it looks like a true believer. Because the flavor is nice and the taste is good.
It's good.
He told his wife, Aisha, when you want to make the casserole for me, add more squash. You know what is squash?
Squash, yes, I do.
Even like the pumpkin seed, we also have. He said it strengthens the grieving heart. The 16 great scientists of the 16th century, Paracelsus, said, your meadows and your pastures shall be your pharmacy. Around you, in front of you, I have given you some medicines. Against every ill, there is a herb that grows.
That grows. Okay, now that is where we hang this conversation for now, because we can keep talking and talking about herbs, about greenery, about plants. But I also know that you have a garden.
Sure.
Yes, and it's important that we actually see some of these plants and maybe continue this conversation while they're in the garden.
Thank you. The greenery promotes good health. You see, you know Mataya Mangari, the great environmentalist, said she believes even heaven is green. You know, when you have a green, anti-stress, antidepressant. That is why when I was interviewed was about increase in depression. Let's have gardens green around. Take those people who have depression, take them to the garden to see the green. Green strengthens the eyes. Greens takes you to nature. Greens uplift your spirit. Green is the gift of God to mankind.
All right, Hajia Zainab, I know we can keep going on and on, but it's really time for us to go into the garden. As you have said, let's promote greenery. Let's see our own version of our Garden of Eden as created by us.
Thank you very much.